Hi all, welcome to Tech Forum. In this video, let us see the details on sync distribution in AEM. This is the continuation of earlier videos on Slink content distribution. In last videos, we have seen the details on Slink content distribution and how to configure forward and reverse distributions. In this video, let us see how to configure the sync distribution to sync the modification between published instances through author as a coordinator instance. This video is created based on AEM as a cloud service, local author and publish instances. The social user sync module is removed from AEM as a cloud service. So due to that, some additional configurations required to enable the sync distribution between publishers. In earlier version, the social user sync module have the some of the required configuration to enable the content sync, but that module is removed from AEM as a cloud service. So we should be doing some additional configurations. I am using the OSJ system console to enable the required configurations for the demo. Use run mode specific OSJ configurations while implementing content distribution in your project. So sync distribution allows modifications made on one published instance to be synchronized with other published instances in the form of published instances through author instance. So here author is the coordinator. The modifications automatically synchronized across the published instances in the form and are not created on the author. Means the modifications are synchronized between publishers, but the changes or the modifications will not be created in author instance. Author is just a coordinator instance. So this is done by author pulling the content from source instance. As I said already, author is the coordinator. So author pulls the content modification from source instance, here the one of the published instance, and distribute it to the other published instance on the form. Slink distribution only sends the modification data to the non-originating published instance. That will help us to eliminate the unnecessary traffic. The author pulls resource from n published instance and push them to n-1 published instances in the form. If you see the diagram, here author is a coordinator instance between the published instances. So you can have multiple published instances. So if you see here form instance 1 to n, the changes created on one of the published instance will get synced to all other published instance in the form through the author. The sync distribution will help us to sync the data generated in n published instances to n-1 published instances other than the source published instance in a form through author instance as a coordinator, but the changes are not created or the modifications are not created in author. Let us now see the configurations required. Two different set of configuration, one for author and another one for published instances. So all the published instances should have all these configurations mentioned here for publishers. So author is specific to this. So in published instance, we should be configuring a local importer. So local importer will receive the changes from author. That is originated from other published instance. Then we should be configuring a agent based exporter. So to export the local changes to the agent queue. Then we should be configuring a queue agent. So this is the one will store place the data, like what author should be pulling. So author will pull the data from this queue. So these configurations, these three configurations, if you see here, this is the distribution agent, queue distribution agent. You can specify a name. Then local distribution package importer. So this is to import the changes. So specify a name. Then exporter, agent distribution package exporter. So you need to specify a name. Also you need to link the agent, which agent this is going to be used for exporting. So this is the name PubSync. So these changes should be enabled in all the published instances. So whatever the published instances you are going to use for content sync. Now in author, you should be configuring a sync distribution agent. So here you can see there is a name specified, but there is a major two configurations. One is package exporter dot endpoints, the package importer dot endpoints. So every publisher is having one exporter and one the importer. So that is the configurations we are specifying here. If you see here, the PubSync is the exporter name. So if you see here, yeah, this is the package exporter name PubSync, and again the package importer dot endpoints is a sync. This is the importer endpoint. So you should be configuring multiple endpoints here, this is the endpoint 1 or 0. Then you can configure other publisher 4505 example, corresponding endpoint you can configure, because the exporter and the importer names are going to be same, only the port number is and the host name is going to be different. So same way you configure multiple importer also, so that you can sync the data between n publish instances. Let us now see the demo on sync distribution. These are all the major steps we are going to follow. The first one is configure authorized user in publishers. All the publishers we should be configuring a authorized user. Admin user can be used, but it is not recommended. Then second step is Adobe Granite distribution, encrypted password transport secret provider. You should be configured in author. So I will explain it, like how to do that and why we are doing that. Then we should be configuring a queue agent and importer and agent exporter on every publishers. Then in author we should be configuring a sync distribution agent. So then we can enable the triggers to automate the content sync. So we should be enabling scheduled and JCR event triggers. So we can see how to do that. Then the last step, we can test the content sync through curl command and triggers. Triggers are going to be used for automation. The sync distribution can be used to sync any data between the form of publishers. As a first step, let us configure an authorized user in all the publishers. So I'm going to create a new user with the name user sync admin, and also I am adding this user to the administrator group. So if you want you can restrict the permissions, but for the I am going and adding the user to the administrator group. I already did that. So this required only in all the publishers. Maybe I will show you in one of the publishers. Let me search for, I already created, so yeah, so this is one user sync admin. So yeah, groups, I added the user to the administrator. So do the same for other publishers also. Once the authorized user is configured in all the publishers, enable encrypted password transport secret provider in author instance with this specific username and password. This user will be used to sync the content between author and publish instance. So let's see that how to do that. Go to the author instance. So I am going and searching for maybe transport. Encrypt password transport secret provider. I already created that. So just add this one. Now if I go and edit this, so if you see here, there is a property name. You can give any name you want. So but this name should be linked to the agent. So I will show you that. And now username, you can enter the username. This is the username what we created in all the publishers, same username. Now encrypted password, so this is the encrypted password correspond to this user sync admin. So if you go to main, then crypto support, yeah, you can enter this password corresponding to the user sync admin. Then click on protect. It will give you the protected text, encrypted text. You can keep that in the configuration. But before doing this, we should be doing some more steps. We should be following some more steps to sync the crypto keys between the publish instance from author, because we are going to use the same credentials, so encrypted credentials. By default, the keys, the crypto keys, the encryption keys are going to be different. So the values will be decrypted in a decrypted to different value. So the authentication will not work. So to avoid that, you should sync the authentication keys. So for that, what you need to do is, as a first step, in author, go to the bundles. You should look for crypto.file. crypto.file, find out this bundle ID. Here if you see, this bundle ID is the 36. So now what you need to do is you need to go to file system, then I will go to author, quick start, go to launchpad, then Felix, go to that corresponding bundle 36. Here you can see a folder called data. So now here you can see two files, HMAC and master. Copy these two files and place it into the other publishers, or place it into publisher, all the publishers in the same location. So most of the cases the bundle number is going to be same. Go and place it into the same place. After that either restart that corresponding bundle in all the published instance, or restart the AEM servers. Let us now configure a queue agent that places the changes into the queues, an exporter that exports packages from the queue agent, and importer that imports packages from the queue agent on every published instance. So these three configurations should be done in all the published instances. So let's do that. If I go to the published instances, I will go to 03. What I'm going and doing is search for distribution. So here if you see Apache Link distribution agent, queue agent factory. So I already created one thing with the name. So you note this name because this name is required. Enter name, title, select this enabled. Log level initially keep it as debug, so that you can identify any issues while configuring. Then allowed routes. So what parent content path you are going to sync between publishers. So I am going and selecting it as a content weekend/US. Any content under that will be synced. Now apart from that there is no change. We should be configuring the triggers, but that's going to be the last step. I will explain you what need to be done. So do the same thing, same configuration even in other publishers also. Now once this queue agent is configured, now you should be configuring a agent based package exporter. If you see Apache Link distribution exporter, agent based package exporter, I already configured. Here name is important, keep the name. Now this is the name we are going to use it in the author, in the exporter URL. Now this one, the agent.target. So this is again important configuration. So name equal to PubSync. This is my agent name because I use the same name everywhere. So you can keep different name like a PubSync agent, then exporter, or whatever you want. So then you need to link the agent here. So with this exporter. So once this is done, you need to create a importer. So that is for of this configuration. Local package importer factory. So there is a default configurations. If you want, you can use it, but I am created a new one, sync. So here no specific configuration, just to keep the name. This is again important. This is the one we are going to be using it in author configurations. Package builder I am going with the default one. Now the in one of the publisher, the 4503, the configurations are ready. So even we can now go and verify the agent through the console. So for that, okay, let me go to aem/start.html. Okay, go to tools, go to deployment, distribution. If you see here is the PubSync. You can select this, double click on that. You see here you can do disable, pause, test connection. If you want, you can refresh. Also it will show you the queues. Default is right now it's passive, so no values. Also you can check the logs, so then you can see the settings. So also you can, if you want, you can do the distribution through this UI. So okay, if I go here, so one difference is like in AEM 6.5 or other versions, so you can create this agent through this UI itself. So if you go here, there will be a create option, but here in AEM as a cloud, you can't create. You have to do this configuration through OSCI config. Okay, now the publisher 1 is ready with the configuration. Now do the same configuration, set of configuration in second publisher also. So it's not only in the second publisher, how many publishers you have. So I have two publishers, another one is 4505. So I did the same configuration. If I go to distribution, yeah, you see the Q agents factory, then agent based package exporter, then local package importer factory. So I did the same configuration changes in this publisher also. Okay, now the publisher configuration configurations are ready. Let us now configure sync distribution agent on author. So configure sync distribution agent in author that will pull the content from publishers, means exporters, endpoints based on the configuration, and distribute the content to the importers on publish instance other than the source publisher. So let me go to author. So if I go and search for distribution, here we already created the encrypted password, so there's one configuration is required. Now we are going to create a distribution agent. If you see here, sync agent. So in publisher we created the Q agent factory. Here we are creating sync agent factory. So I naming it as a distribution sync. So this also required if you want to invoke this agent from outside. So name distribution sync, title, enable, service name is optional. If you want, you can configure. Otherwise, whoever is invoking their resource resolver will be used. Okay. Now log level I am keeping it as debug. Then I am leaving this queue processing enabled. So these two are other important configurations. See here, exporter endpoints. So the pubsync is my exporter name in both the publishers, 403 and 05. So how many publishers you have, you add all those endpoints here. So I have 2 publishers, so 2 endpoints. Same way importer endpoints. So here also sync is my importer name in the publishers. So I am configuring 2 publishers, so 2 endpoints. So how many publishers you are configuring, add all those endpoints here. Now other than that, everything I am leaving it default. So only thing difference here is the transport secret provider. So this is the transport secret provider we defined. This is the name of that provider in author. So specify that name, whatever the name you are using, so specify that. This will be used to connect to the publishers. Now the triggers, we should be configuring the triggers, but that we can do later. Now the distribution agent factory is enabled. Let us verify that, how that look like. If I will go again to go to tools, deployment, distribution. Yeah, same way. You can see here 2 queues. One is endpoint 0 and endpoint 1. Other than that, logs, settings, distribute, whatever you want. Here you can't use the UI to distribute. This agent won't support that. Even you can verify the logs and also the status. If you want, you can refresh. Even you can, if you want to clear the queue, you can do. You can clear the messages in the queue. Okay. Now the initial configurations are ready. Let us test the sync distribution scenario through curl commands. So I'm going to modify some content under content weekend /us node in publish 1. I will go to, I'm doing through CRX. Go to content weekend US. Let me go to en KCR content. Okay, I will keep it as updated. Saving this. Okay, the change is enabled now. So what we need to do is, as a first off, we should be executing this curl command. So this curl command, what it is doing is, it's going to add these changes, whatever the changes, to the this exporter queue. So it will export to queue. So action equal to add, the path equal to whatever the path. This is I am executing on the 4503. So this is the publisher. I enable the changes. So let me go and do that. Yeah, the action you can change. If it is a delete, you can change. You can use delete. Or in my case, I am adding or modifying the data. So it is add. So just press enter. Yeah, you can see the status here. Success true, state equal to accepted. If there is any issue, it will state will be like success equal to false and state equal to dropped. So if what I will do is I go back here, go to this agent in the publisher, just to refresh it now. Is it in the corresponding publisher 0? See, you can see some data is added into the queue. So this is the package, the actual package having that modifications. Now as a second step, so I am going and executing this curl command on author. So because as I said earlier, the author is the coordinator that will pull the changes and redistribute the changes to other publishers. So if you see here, this is my agent name, distribution sync action equal to pull. So I am asking the author to pull it. So if I go and do that, yeah, see here, success true, state equal to accepted, message equal to queued. So now if I go to the maybe the other publisher, if I 4505, this other publisher, so and go to US and go to EN, the corresponding node, let me refresh it. Yeah, see here, the content change from that 4503 publisher got synced to this this publisher. So like that, like how many publishers you are having, it will get synced to all the publishers. Now, but if I go to author now, let me go to author. So what is the behavior in author? So the expectation is the changes should not be created in the author. So let's see like how that is. Yeah. So if you see the modifications not affected the author content. So only the modifications are synced between the publisher. So but the author is acting like a coordinator instance. Okay. Let us now see how to automate the sync distribution through triggers. So for that, I am going to configure a JCR event trigger in all the published instances to add the JCR changes. So in my case, it is a content weekend USEN. Whatever I did change is a JCR change. So those changes under the configured path to the distribution queue. Whenever there is a change in a content under that root path, the changes will get automatically added into a distribution queue. So for that, what you need to do is go to every publisher. This has to be repeated in all the publishers. So I am going and adding a trigger here. So I will show you. See, yeah. So JCR event triggers. So that's I am doing. So I have a name here, the pub sync trigger. Then path. This is my parent path. Okay. So service name, I created a service name with this system user with the same name, and also provided the complete access to this user. So also registered this service user in the user mapper. So I will show you that. Now I selected a deep distribution, means any change under this path will be synced to all other publishers. So let me go to, yeah, so this is fine. I will show you the user mapper. Yeah, here if you see distributions, so this is the mapping I created. So this is the bundle ID, Apache Sling distribution.core distribution services. This is the service name. Then this is the username, the system username. This has to be repeated in all the publishers. So once this trigger configuration is ready, so we should be configuring or linking this to the agent. For that, go to the corresponding agent. Yeah, so here we have a queue agent factory with the name PubSync. So go to here. So here there is a section called triggers. So add that trigger name. So let me find it. Yeah, this is my trigger name. Okay. So what does that mean is any changes modification created under that node will be automatically added into the distribution queue through this trigger. JCR event trigger. So click on save. Do the same thing in other publisher also. So now, yeah, publishers fine. Now what we need to do is, yeah, the changes are added automatically, but now authors will be pulling that. Okay, now create a scheduled agent in author. So you can keep the interval either 30 seconds, default is 30 seconds, whatever the interval you want. So based on that configurations, author will try to pull the changes or modifications from the publisher's queue. So automatically and also it will redistribute the changes to the other publishers. Pulled triggers here in author, so same name here, same trigger. So here the distribution type should be pull, so we are going to pull the changes from publishers. Now again distribution path, content weekend US interval in seconds I am keeping 30, that is the default. Also if you want you can change it. Same way, like you need to have a service name defined, system user, and give the required permissions here. Also add that entry in the user number. So once this is done, go back to your agent. Here you have a sync agent, so let me search for that. Yeah, so one more time. Yeah, so distribution sync agent, come down here, here go and add that trigger name. Yeah. Okay, this is done. Now the configurations are ready. Now the content modification from the publisher 1 under content weekend US node should be synced to all other publishers on every 30 seconds. So let's test that. So I am going to 4503 again. So I will add something called trigger here. So save this. So that's fine. Let's wait for that. Maybe we can refresh this and see. Yeah, so it's added now. Let's wait. Author should be fetching this. Yeah, so it's empty now, means it's author already pulled that. So let me go to the other publisher now, 4505. Refresh that. Yeah, see, you can see the change. So it means yeah, any change under the configured path will be automatically synced to the other publishers, all other publishers, on every 30 seconds, because I configured the interval as 30 seconds, so you can configure whatever you want. This concludes the sync distribution configuration between publishers through the author instance as a coordinator. The content changes from the publishers are pulled by the author and distributed to all the publishers other than the source. We can configure multiple publishers endpoints in the author sync agent to pull and distribute the content changes. The triggers can be configured in author and publishers to completely automate the sync distribution of the contents. Thanks all for watching the video. See you in the next video.